You don't look away because you're shy. You look away because something in you feels exposed. Like if you hold eye contact just a second longer, they might see something you're not ready to show. And the strange part is, you don't even know what that something is. Problem. Deep dive. It happens in small, ordinary moments. Talking to someone, you glance up, then quickly look away. Not because you don't care, but because it suddenly feels too intense. In conversations, your eyes drift to the floor, to your phone, to anything but their face. And afterward, you replay it. Why couldn't I just look normally? You tell yourself it's awkwardness. Maybe introversion. Maybe just a bad habit. But it doesn't feel that simple. Because sometimes you want to connect. You want to be present. You want to feel comfortable with people. Yet in the exact moment, connection becomes real. Your body pulls you away. And over time, this shapes how you see yourself. You start thinking, I'm not confident. I'm socially off. Something's wrong with me. But what's actually happening is much more precise than that. This isn't just social discomfort. It's a pattern, a very specific one. And it has less to do with confidence and more to do with how your brain handles being seen. Here's the part most people miss. You're not avoiding eye contact because you're weak. You're avoiding it because your brain learned that being fully visible is not always safe. At some point, you adapted. Maybe you grew up around people who noticed everything. Your tone, your expressions, your reactions. Or maybe you were misunderstood when you were open, so your brain made a quiet adjustment. Don't reveal too much at once. And eye contact is one of the fastest ways to reveal everything. It's not just looking. It's emotional exposure. So instead of seeing this as a flaw, it's more accurate to see it as protection. A subtle, automatic way your mind learned to manage risk. But here's the deeper question. If it's protection, what exactly is your brain trying to protect you from? Psychological mechanism. To understand this, you need to understand what eye contact actually does in the brain. When you look into someone's eyes, your brain doesn't treat it as neutral. It activates your social evaluation system. This includes areas like the amygdala, the part of your brain that scans for threat, not physical danger, but social danger, judgment, rejection, misinterpretation. Eye contact increases emotional data. Micro-expressions, subtle reactions, unspoken signals. Unspoken signals. It's like turning up the brightness on a screen that was already overwhelming. Here's a simple mental model. Eye contact is like opening a window between two minds. The longer you hold it, the more information flows both ways. And if your brain expects that information to be risky, it closes the window. Fast. This is where avoidance comes in. Not as a conscious choice, but as a reflex. Your brain predicts, if I stay here, I might be seen too clearly. And clarity feels dangerous when you're not sure how you'll be interpreted. There's also something else happening. Your brain links eye contact to self-awareness. The moment someone looks at you, you become aware of yourself, your face, your expressions, your presence. This activates what psychologists call self-monitoring. You start observing yourself while being observed, and that creates pressure. It's like trying to act natural while knowing you're being watched. The more you monitor yourself, the less natural you feel. So your brain finds the easiest solution. Reduce the input, break eye contact, lower the intensity, and regain control. But here's the paradox. The more you avoid eye contact to feel safe, the more unfamiliar and intense it becomes over time, which means the next time, your brain reacts even faster, and the cycle repeats. So how do you interrupt something that happens before you even think? Practical framework. You don't fix this by forcing confidence. You change how your brain interprets the moment, step by step. 1. Shift. From being seen to observing. What to do. When you make eye contact, focus on noticing them instead of thinking about yourself. Why? It works. This redirects activity away from self-monitoring and reduces amygdala-driven threat perception. Your brain moves from "I'm being judged" to "I'm gathering information." Example: instead of thinking, "Do I look awkward?" you notice they seem a little tired. The moment becomes less about you and more about reality. 2. Use micro-eye contact instead of forcing it. What to do? Hold eye contact for 2-3 seconds, then naturally look away, then return. Why it works? This gradually desensitizes your brain without overwhelming it. You're training your nervous system that eye contact is safe in small doses. Example: during a conversation, look at their eyes while they speak. Glance away while you think, then reconnect. It feels more natural because it is natural. 3. Slow down. Your internal pace. What to do before or during interaction. Slightly slow your breathing and your speech. Why? It works. A slower pace signals safety to the nervous system, reducing hyperalertness and self-monitoring. Your brain stops scanning for immediate threat. Example: instead of rushing your words, pause briefly between sentences. This gives your brain time to settle while maintaining connection. 4. Allow imperfect presence. What to do? Stop trying to look normal and allow small, awkward moments. Why it works? Perfection increases self-monitoring. Acceptance reduces it. Your brain learns that nothing bad happens when you're not perfectly composed. Example: if you break eye contact awkwardly, don't correct it immediately. Just continue the conversation. You'll notice the other person rarely reacts the way you expect. 5. Reframe. Eye contact as sharing, not exposure. What to do? Mentally shift from "they can see me" to "we are sharing a moment." Why it works? This changes the emotional meaning of eye contact from threat to connection. Your brain no longer treats it as one-sided vulnerability. Example: instead of feeling like you're being analyzed, see it as mutual presence. Two people, both slightly visible, both slightly human at its core. This isn't about eye contact. It's about how safe it feels to exist without filtering yourself. Here's the simple model to remember. Your brain avoids intensity, not people. Eye contact just happens to be one of the most intense forms of connection, so your system learned to turn it down, not to disconnect, but to regulate. When you understand this, the behavior stops feeling random. It becomes predictable. And once something is predictable, it becomes adjustable, not by force, but by gently changing what your brain expects to happen. You don't need to become someone who holds eye contact perfectly. That's not the goal. The goal is simpler than that. To feel a little less threatened by being seen, a little more comfortable existing in front of someone without pulling away. Because the truth is, most people aren't looking for perfection in your eyes. They're looking for presence. And presence doesn't come from forcing yourself to stay. It comes from no longer needing to hide. Even just a little less than before. That's where it starts.